Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Boomstick Billiards. In today's episode, we are going to talk about the most overlooked aspect of anybody's game, and that is safety play. Now, this was voted on by one of the subscribers, so if there's something that you guys want to see out there, go ahead, leave it in the comment section down below, and it will be in one of the next videos. So let's jump right into it. All right, so there are a few different types of safeties that we should go over really quick. We've got the first, which is cue ball safe. Second, which is object ball safe. Third is both cue ball and object ball safe. And the fourth is one that gets overlooked a lot, and that is just leaving your opponent a very tough shot. Now, this works out great for the lower skill levels and becomes less optimum as you get higher in skill level, but it is still a valid option if you have no other choice. So let's see some examples on the table.
First off, let's talk about what a safety is. Now, a lot of people think that a safety is where either the cue ball or the object ball or both are safe. And yes, these are safeties, but a safety can also be just making a shot harder for your opponent to hit or make. So leaving them jacked up over a ball, leaving them against a rail, leaving a very, very long shot or a back cut, stuff like that. Here is a very simple safety. It's a one rail kick. The one ball hits the end rail, comes back out, still leaves a shot. Okay, so right here, this is just after the break in 8-ball. You made a solid, you have no shots on an open ball. You could try to maybe bank the 5, pass the 12, pass the 6. You could try to kick off one of the side rails and hit it into the corner pocket, but you'd still be left at that end of the table. Or you can play a very, very easy safety shot. So we left the cue ball on the end rail and we moved our ball further up table. Now we did leave some shots. We did leave the back cut on the 14 and the 15 in the side. But both of these are extremely difficult shots, especially depending on your opponent's skill level. So as far as safeties goes, this is the easiest one that you can learn. It's just leaving your opponent tough shots. Right, so here's another example. You are moving the one ball up table and leaving the cue ball right next to the 3, forcing your opponent to jack up over it, creating an extremely difficult shot. Here the 8-ball is pretty well secured against that side rail. So what do? We move the 4-ball out into the center of the table, leaving an impossible cut up table. They could try to back bank it, but that's an extremely tough shot. So this is a successful safety. In this instance, we are going to use what I like to call a trap ball. We're going to hit our object ball into another ball. That way we know exactly where the object ball is going to stay. And we are going to get the cue ball up table and right next to the 9-ball, making it a tough shot. This one is one you see a lot in 8-ball, on the 8-ball, or 9-ball with the object ball. It's just this simple. You push the cue ball up to the object ball, forcing them to kiss up against the rail, leaving either the same shot in return or for your opponent to try and kick off one of the side rails. It's the easiest and most common safety shot that you will see, especially amongst low skill level players. Now, safety shots work better with balls in between. So with this shot right here, we're going at an angle, we're going to thin cut it so the 4-ball doesn't move that much, and we are going to get that cue ball further up table, just like that. When you first start out playing safeties, they will look something like this. You're hitting the 1-ball, you're putting a couple balls in between. It's still an easy shot, but it is more effective than just leaving an open table. With this shot here, 6 and 15 are on the side rail. You can make the 6, but you need the right angle, but you also don't want to leave your opponent a shot. So, very simple safe is you just tap it, get the ball out, but the key thing to remember with all safeties is whatever you can do, the opponent can do right back to you. So, When should you play a safety? A question I get asked all the time. And with this instance right here, the 1 does go into the side pocket. You would have a tougher shot on the 2 if you didn't control the cue ball. And then from there, the run out is pretty simple. But let's say you're not good at side pocket shots, or you just don't think that you can make it. This would be a perfect time to play a safety shot. Safeties are something that need to be practiced all the time, because if not, this is what will happen. You play the safe, it starts going up table. That's a good safe. You've got the 9 and the 4 ball in the way, but your opponent's going to kick off the end rail, and that's the end result. And that happens because you didn't get the cue ball or object ball locked up against another ball. This is the difference between the tough shot and getting the cue ball safe. So it's the same shot as before, where we use the 2 ball as the trap ball to keep the 1 up against the end rail. But we're going to hit it with more top to get it further up table and get it behind a ball. With this case right here, the 1-2 combo does not go past the 5. You could try to back cut the 1 to back cut the 5, but it's a very complicated shot. You could put the 1 ball in between the 5 and the 8 on this end rail and leaving the cue ball on the other side of the 2. Or you could do a trap shot as well and also get your cue ball to the other end of the table. So we aim up, it's going to hit the 8 ball. It's going to come out, it's an available shot now. It goes to one of the corners. And if your opponent misses, gives you ball in hand, now you have a potential run out. So after just pushing a ball up against a rail and having the cue ball right up on it, this is probably one of the second easiest safety shots to learn. So in this case, the 1 and the 7 are right near each other. Now you could try to combo them, but if you're not good at combos, then that's not a viable option because you're cutting the 1 to cut the 7, and that's a very tough shot. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to play just a follow shot, and you're going to hit the 1 ball into the side rail. The 1 ball is going to carry forward, and you're going to put the 7 in between the 1 and the cue ball. Here's that same shot again, only this time we're going to use it to develop. Now, developing safeties are such a key fundamental for 5, 6, and above in skill level because it's a two-way shot. You're playing a safety, and you're also opening up more balls. Those last 2 shots work because you're right up against the end rail, side rail, whatever it is. But what happens if you're out in the middle of the table? Well, that's where this safety shot comes into play. It's very easy, same general concept. You're hitting with a little bit of top, you're getting the 1 ball to the rail, and you're locking that cue ball up behind another object ball. And just like before, you can do it to develop other balls on the table. Alright, and with this shot here, it's very similar to the shot earlier where the 8 ball was flush up against the side rail near the side pocket. But in this case, the 8 ball is out in the middle of the table, it has a pocket, and you cannot let your opponent get back to the table and also see the 8 ball. Now again, this is one that you could play. You could go for the bank, but if you miss it, you're selling out. The opponent now has a perfect shot on the 8 ball. This is a perfect instance to play a safety shot. So what you're going to do is you're going to run into the 4, a little bit thicker than you might think, just leaving the 4 ball in between the 8 and the cue ball. Doing the shot right, this is the end result right here. If you hit it too thin, the cue ball is going to bounce further out because a lot of the momentum isn't transferred into the 4 ball, and they're still going to have that shot on the 8 ball. This is a shot that needs to be practiced and practiced and practiced. This is another great safety shot to learn. This one, the 1 ball, cue ball are right there. You have a natural wall of balls. How do you implement them? Well, you could use the trap system and hit the 6 ball. You could try to bank the 1 out, hoping to stay behind the wall of balls, or you could go rail first, forcing the cue ball into the rail to hit the object ball and send the object ball up table, and then this is the result. Another developmental safety shot here. We could cut the 1 ball into the side pocket and send the cue ball up table and then back down and hope that we hit the 2-4. And it is a possible shot, but if you don't know that shot, if you don't know how to get the cue ball there, that shot is next to impossible if you don't know the angles or the English or the speed that you need to hit that with. So what we're going to do is we're going to play a developmental safety shot. We're going to use the cue ball to develop the 2 ball, going around the 6, hitting the 2 ball to a more manageable spot. Now from here we can bank it, we can get underneath it where the cue ball is now to shoot it in the side. There are a lot more options available to us from this position. Is it perfect? No, but when your opponent gets to the table, they are safed. When thinking about playing a safety, you have to see what the table layout is. In this case, the balls are open. The only tough shot is really the 3 ball, and if you get into the right position, it's an easy shot because then you can go 3, 4, 5, all from that side of the table. So, looking at the table, we have a natural 2 ball wall against the side rail. So how do we implement this? Well, we're going to play kind of like a bank shot, but we're not aiming towards the side pocket. Inside English, just stun it over and you lock your opponent up. Not all safeties have to be difficult though. This is such an easy shot. 4 ball is just tucked up behind the 6. It has nowhere to go from where the cue ball is right now. So all you got to do is play it very, very thin. It moves the 4 ball towards the side rail. Cue ball goes back up table, and now it is a more makeable shot. This is another must-know safety shot. You see this all the time in 8 ball. 2 balls were locked up. Neither you or your opponent could get them out. So what I see happen so much is you'll see a captain come over and they'll tell their player, oh, just give them ball in hand because they're locked up. They don't want them to break them out. Well, giving your opponent ball in hand in this case is the worst thing you can do because this safety shot right here is absolutely deadly. You're breaking out your ball, you're sending their ball further up table, and it's so unlikely that they're going to be able to hit it. Here it is from another angle, same thing, even going in when they're not perfectly locked up. Safeties are often looked at as something that we have to do whenever we run out of position, we don't get the right leave that we want, we couldn't break out a ball, stuff like that. But you can play them to be offensive as well. So in this shot right here, you could play the 10 through the 3, hoping to make both at once. You could try for the bank and get back up table for the 8 ball. But in doing so, you're leaving them a shot afterwards. So you play a little bit more aggressive. You're going to help them out. Play the 10 ball into the 3 ball. Make their ball. You can leave it right in the pocket like that. Or if you are worried about making it as well, you can do it at a slight angle, still leaving it by the pocket, leaving it as an easy shot for you when you get back to the table. Knowing the right type of safety to play makes all the difference. With this shot right here, we're playing as stripes. This is what we are left with. We could bank the 13. That doesn't help us out with the 15 later on. The 11 ball we can cut all the way up table, but how do we get that 15 out? We don't have any balls near it to use as a breakout ball. So we decide to play safe on the 15. Well, there's a couple different ways that you can play this shot in particular. We could hit it to go in between the 8 and the 7. Very nice and easy like that, leaving it open and available for the next time. Doing that is fine, but you leave the 7 as an option. The 2 ball is a makeable shot, and if they do make that shot, now the whole table's open. So we reset, and now we want to try to lock up that 7 ball, while still also leaving us a shot. Just like that, absolutely perfect. You can make the 15 if you are at the right angle from there, leaving that as the last ball, its natural angle to get on the 8 ball. 2-way safety shots is the way to go. In this case, I have 1 ball all the way up here is a 6 ball, and I have the 1 ball and the 4 ball at the other end of the table. Now, the 8 ball is also up there, and my opponent's ball is also up there. So to make my run out easier, I want to get my 6 ball over to that side of the table, while also not leaving my opponent a shot. So I play a bank shot to get the 6 ball further up table. I purposely hit it into the side rail and not hard enough to make it into the corner pocket. That way I don't have to come up with another shot right after this. The opponent goes, misses, giving us ball in hand. Now we've got ball in hand and the option for the run out. We're going to play the 1 ball first because that's the easiest shot to start off with, because from there everything is natural. From the 4 to the 6 and then to the 8 ball. Now on the 8 ball, what I'm actually going to do is I'm still going to play another type of safety. I'm going to make the 8 ball, but if I rattle it, I'm going to leave it in the pocket and the 12 ball nowhere to go. A huge part of safeties is knowing your opponent. Now that's not always an option, but when it is, during like league play, stuff like that, what type of pool player is your opponent? Are they just a rack runner? Do they just play balls just to play them? They don't play safe. They're kind of like a bar shooter. Are they somebody a little bit more technical? Are they good at kick shots? Don't leave them kick shots. Are they good at jump shots? Don't leave them jump shots. This is what you need to know when playing a good safety. In this case right here, it is an option to just move one of their balls and lock it up. Right now we are the 4 ball. The opponent has 3 balls on the table, so what we're going to do is we're going to just play their ball into that pack while also developing our 4 ball. Now that is a good safety shot if you're playing against the right person. If they're very aggressive, they're going to try to run this out. They're going to try to play the 15-14 combo. They're going to try to sneak that 9 past the 4 against the side rail. They're going to try to bank something. But if they aren't, what they'll do is they'll take ball in hand and they will make your life a living hell. It's a very easy shot, just tucking it up while also breaking out balls. So I'm going to end on this shot right here. Now this does not apply to a lot of pool leagues, but it does apply to places like tap, stuff like that. So you can play a shot in 8 ball, calling safe to your opponent, and make the shot, and then wherever the cue ball lines up, that's a safety shot. It is now your opponent's turn. And it's a very interesting way to go because you could leave them really tied up in the worst spots. So in this case, we're just going to play the 14 with a stop shot. Now, that might seem silly because we could have tried to break out our other object ball, but our object ball has a pocket. And what we saw is that we leave them this shot. They're obviously going to kick 1 rail and go towards the mass majority of the balls. The 7 ball being the biggest one right in the way and the easiest to hit. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to hit that 7 ball. They're going to send it up table. They are going to think that they left us a very tough shot. But because we chose the right shot at the right time, we are going to get the run out. So I will leave you with the run out, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode.
Alright, that about wraps it up for today's episode, all about safety play. Today's episode was a blast to film. It was also suggested by one of the subscribers, so if there is something that you guys want to see, go ahead, leave it in the comment section down below. And thank you guys so much for the support so far with this channel, even though it's only 5 episodes and it is a lot more than I could have hoped for. So thank you guys so very much for that, and as always, have an amazing day.